the mind can be such a terrifying place if you let it be. It's just insane how powerful and impactful your thoughts can be, but don't forget that your thoughts are just thoughts. They're not you. They're not real, or at least don't make them out to be. So today I'm going to be talking about how to fight your own thoughts. I'm still in a constant battle with my thoughts. Every single day I'm fighting demons, but it's okay. I'm still here and I'm winning somehow. Become an observer of your own thoughts, pretty much. So what that means is just stepping out of yourself and watch your own thoughts. So the analogy that I learned was, imagine that you're laying down on the grass and you're looking up at the sky and you're looking at the clouds. The clouds are your thoughts, pretty much. They're just passing by. And then if you're like me, my mind it feels like it's racing 100 miles per hour. I'm having so many thoughts, so many distractions, and it can be quite overwhelming, and so many negative things, especially the negative thinking. It's just like, you're worthless, you're ugly, you're never gonna become anything, give up. Like, it's basically, your mind is just literally designed to make things so much difficult for yourself, and it's absolutely devastating. Like, it really be your own, pretty much. But yeah, just step out of your own self, and I know it can be really hard to, or like, I don't know, I guess weird to do, but try to step out of that and just like observe your own thoughts, like an outsider looking in, pretty much. And to be honest, like, that really helped a lot. Your brain is like a muscle that needs training, just the way that your physical body does too, and a lot of people tend to forget that. And again, I understand that not everyone has the time, the resources, or the tools to do so, but if you really want to make this happen and you really want to work on yourself, you're going to have to put in the time and the energy and the effort. And I know that therapy it's more accessible now than it was ever before, but I know that it can be costly, but there are other ways of obtaining these tools. There are books, there are plenty of YouTube videos. I mean, nothing that I'm saying here is new or revolutionary. Like, this is stuff that I'm sure that a lot of people already know, but I'm just here to remind you and me of that, okay? But yeah, it's the same thing. It's like when you injure yourself, like you rest, you try to make that, I don't know, you injure your arm, you take care of it, you rest, try to make it feel better. It's the same thing with your mind, especially if you're like in a depressive state. If you just let the depression just sit there, you're literally gonna watch yourself rot. Like, that's exactly what is happening to people that cannot get out of bed, people that cannot bathe themselves, eat, just do simple tasks. You're letting that wound not heal. Like, you're just rotting, and it's devastating. The thing with depression is that you have to get up. You can't just sit there and just rot, because then you're letting your mind and your brain just, it's like a muscle. You're just letting it like lose its muscle memory. You're just letting it degrade, pretty much. You're not straightening that, and I know that it's very difficult to do so. But that's the same thing with what's going on right now. It's just, there's a lack of mental health. And I'm sorry that I keep looking down, because I have my notes on here, because if I don't, then I'm gonna forget what I'm talking about. But another thing that I learned is the monkey mind, monkey brained. It's kind of like a Buddhist term that is used to describe the inability to quiet our mind, just because, again, we have so many thoughts racing through, so many ideas, so many things that we need to do. And one thing that helps is obviously meditation. I mean, maybe not obviously, maybe a lot of people don't know that, but again, nothing that I'm saying here is like new. Meditation does work, and I'm not gonna lie, as someone who has ADHD, it's very difficult to just be able to sit there and relax. Like, it's unbearable. If anything, even taking deep breaths is pretty difficult for me. And something that I helps is at least like do small increments. So like, I know that everyone has like the time of day to do so, but like literally just close your eyes for like 30 seconds and just feel just try to be in tune with your feelings and your emotions just for 30 seconds. Close your eyes. You don't even have to close your eyes. Like, just throughout the day, like if you're walking outside to your car or you're walking to work, and it's just crazy because like we forget to do those things, because like whenever I'm walking, I'm just looking down at my phone, to be honest, or I'm like thinking about something. But hey, that's some spare time that you have for yourself. So try to do that. Try to observe yourself and just take one breath, and then if you want, or if you can increase that from 30 seconds to a minute, or 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then that way it helps ease the mind. I also have this app called Butterfly. I think I paid like $1 for it, but it's a really good app. They have different types of meditations. It's literally like a wheel of meditations, and it has different types of scenarios, I guess, like waking up, going to bed, stressful times. Like it's really cool. It's a really good app. I would recommend that. We use that a lot in therapy. But yeah, man, for me it's almost like an addiction, or it was an addiction. When obviously, like, I'm still battling with depression, but it's not as intense as it used to be. But the sadness and the darkness that I was carrying around with me was just so addictive. Like, I would listen to sad music all the time. I would watch I would watch depressing movies all the time, and just even the language that I was using was just so dark and depressive. And when that's all that you're thinking about, it really does become your reality, and it's really hard to get out of it. It's just how, for me personally, it's very, very I know working out is good for me, and I know that I will feel better afterwards. But the thing is, like, it's not hard to work out. It's like getting the motivation to work out is the most difficult part, because I don't want to do it. Like, I don't have the motivation, and I just wait for the right time to come, and it never comes. And it's the same thing with depression. Like, if you're gonna wait for the right moment to get up, it's never gonna happen. You're gonna have to pull yourself back up somehow. But if you wait for a signal or an indicator, you're never gonna get out of it, to be honest. And it's really difficult when you're like, when you hit rock bottom. And then for me especially, I was so sick of feeling down all the time. Like, the reason why I decided to get better was because I was so tired of being down all the time. Like, it actually became exhausting, and I was so angry and sick of myself. And I know it's not it's not a compassionate way to do it, but like, dude, like, who wants to feel like this? Like, nobody wants to feel like this. It's exhausting. It really is so exhausting to feel down. It costs you nothing to try to get better. And I know it's easy for me to say, because these are my own experiences, and everyone expresses themselves very differently. Everyone has had different experiences, and so I can't just force my own opinion onto others. But to be honest, like, just, I know that it's really the language that people say towards depression, or the language that people use when they don't understand depression, is like, just get up, just don't, like, just be late, like, don't be lazy. Like, I know it's not all that, but a part of it is like kind of true, because you really are in control. Don't let your mind control you. You're letting your thoughts consume you and win. It's literally like a inner battle. You're letting your depression win. Do you want to do that? Do you want to be a own slave, or do you want to be a slave to your own mind? I don't know if that made any sense, but I didn't. I was just tired of it. And I still battle with it, to be honest. And it's kind of terrifying because there are people who still have access to therapy and they work out, they eat well, they have all of these tools and resources, yet they still succumb to depression, and sometimes it ends them, and it's terrifying, and it makes me afraid, and it gives me this feeling that I'm never going to get better. When I was really, really, really depressed, I felt like I was never going to see the light of the day. I was never going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And times where I feel like I'm getting back up from that darkness and I'm walking halfway through the tunnel and I start seeing the light, it just pulls me right back. And if I can accept that it'll happen again, it actually helps me, because it's not easy. It's gonna be a constant battle, but it boils down to how badly do you want it to get better. And right now I want it badly. I really want to get better. And again, there are some days where I just want to be like, fuck it, nothing matters anymore. I just want to lay down and just do nothing. But I'm just so tired of it. I'm just genuinely so sick of myself and just feeling that way. And just to end this video, I just want to also say that life really can be lonely, but you really are not alone. We all, as humans, are not that different from each other. Obviously, there are different factors that plays into our personality, and like, yes, there's some uniqueness in each and every one of us, but at the end of the day, we really aren't that different from each other. We all want the same thing. We all want to feel connection. We all want to feel loved. We all want to feel heard. And the thing that is affecting that closeness is really, well, I want to blame social media, first of all, and our phones, but it's very strange how we live in a world where we're so interconnected yet disconnected at the same time. And that's why I try to just connect with people more by looking at them in the eye, or being on my phone less when I'm eating with my coworkers or my boyfriend. Try to put my phone away. Obviously there's times where I just want to scroll on my phone and like not talk, but that's the main issue too. We're not talking to each other. We're not connecting anymore. If anything, we're just isolating ourselves, and that's just like another reason why I believe that depression is so much more common now. It's really, obviously, yes, it's a psychological issue, but it's a systematic and social issue that we're having. And another thing that I wanted to share is when I was in inpatient therapy in the hospital, we didn't have our phones with us, and I was only there for 3 days, but I felt like I connected so much faster with these people than just anyone else before. Yes, it's obviously different because we are it's not like we're like experiencing trauma together, but like we are just in this group, eating, playing games, being in group therapy, just like really talking to each other, because there are no phones to look at. And I know for a fact that if we all had our phones there, we would not be connecting as much. And once I got out of that, I just couldn't stop thinking about that. And a part of me kind of misses it kind of misses being in there, because it was really nice to be in an environment where no one had their phones, because it felt so freeing. But I just wanted to end this video by saying that we really are not that alone, and I challenge you to try to start a conversation with a friend of yours or a coworker or a neighbor or someone. And it's really difficult. Sometimes I don't want to make eye contact. I just want to be in my own world. But that's the thing, like, we're so wrapped up in our own heads and minds that we're just not talking and connecting with people as much as I think that we should, because we fear that no one will understand us. But I promise you, the people that I've talked to about these types of issues and other things, it really, it's just crazy, because all of the stories that I've heard, and everyone's inner battles are almost pretty similar to mine. And yeah, it's just a reminder that we really are not all that different, and you're not alone. And this is like coming from someone who feels like no one understands them, or I self-isolated all the time because it was also very addictive, like this idea of no one caring about me and me against the world, being a lone wolf. Like, it's really all those were passing thoughts that I latched myself onto, pretty much. And yeah, I I lost my train of thought. I'm so tired. I just got off work. But yeah, I just wanted to come here and say that. And again, if this can at least reach one person or impact someone in some way, then my mission is complete, to be honest. Yeah. Peace.